recorded by a rock group from the mid-1960s. At one time, their claim to fame was smashing their equipment at the end of every performance, keeping many of England's music stores in business for several years. Performing music from The Who, Southern Pride now presents the rock and roll classic, I Can See for Miles. Are presented today by the Georgia Southern University Eagle Battalion ROTC. And will you please rise as the colors are presented and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, now join Southern Pride in preparation for the arrival of your Georgia Southern Eagles. Appearing live for your wonder and amazement, we now present the one, the only, the GSU Scramble! Fans, you can log on to NCAA.com and click on Your Opinion Counts to give us feedback on your experience at this NCAA championship. CBS Sports presents championships of the NCAA. 14 NCAA Fall Championships will be featured in the 1-hour special. Highlights and stories from cross country, field hockey, soccer, volleyball, and water polo will be featured in the CBS Fall Seasonal Show, which airs Saturday, December the 18th, 1 o'clock Eastern on CBS in HD. NCAA sports fans, check out NCAA On Demand, where you can get classic NCAA championship videos. Log on to NCAA.com/NCAA On Demand and get your part of NCAA history. Fans, please remember to recycle your aluminum, plastic, and glass bottles in the blue bags in the tailgate area. Fans, you can experience the life of a student athlete. Watch the new weekly NCAA On Campus online at NCAA.com. If you have an idea for a story for the NCAA On Campus show, let us know about it. Email your idea to us at ncaaoncampus@ncaa.org. We'd love to hear from you. It's everything NCAA, and it's on campus now on NCAA.com. If you want to take home a piece of an NCAA championship, pick up your official NCAA championship program at the NCAA Team Shop. And fans, you can get your tickets now for the NCAA Division I Football Championship. That'll be January the 7th at Pizza Hut Park in Frisco, Texas. Hosted by the Southland Conference. For more information, log on to ncaa.com/football. This time, fans, please direct your attention to the top of the press box of Paulson Stadium for freedom flight. This is a live ball field that lives on the campus of Georgia Southern University inside the Wildlife Center.
On a sunny Saturday afternoon in southern Georgia, the Eagles hoping to take flight against the Bulldogs from South Carolina State University here at Paulson Stadium on the campus of Georgia Southern University. We thank you for joining us for this FCS playoff opening round game on NCAA.com. And for the first time in 5 years, one of the perennial powerhouses of what was 1AA and what now is the football championship subdivision back in their rightful perch in playoff contention. I'm Greg Rakestraw for NCAA.com. Thank you very much for being with us on this Saturday afternoon. Georgia Southern at 7-4, playing host the Bulldogs of South Carolina State University, coming in at 9-2. This is one of 4 opening round games in this year's revised format for the FCS Football Championship. In years gone by, this has been a 4-week, 4-round, 16-team field. This year, 20 teams make. 4 additional teams have made the tournament, and we have 4 teams playing games today. Those games are taking place at the Fargo Dome at North Dakota State, at the Unidome at the campus of the University of Northern Iowa, as well as in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where Coastal Carolina is playing host to Western Illinois today. We'll keep you updated on all those scores throughout the course of our broadcast this afternoon. The winner of this matchup advances on to next weekend's round of 16. The Tribe from William and Mary from Virginia, the Colonial Athletic Association, await the winner between these 2 teams today. We'll have quarterfinal action and semifinal action leading up to Christmas. Then we will have a 3-week break. And then on January the 7th, on Friday night, from Pizza Hut Park in Frisco, Texas, normally the home of soccer club FC Dallas, who finished as the runners-up in the MLS Cup a week ago. We'll have the football championship subdivision championship game, hosted in part by the Southland Conference. To see the Southern Pride Band from Georgia Southern University, they are on the field awaiting the entrance, and in fact, as we speak, the Eagles are leaving the Gene Bishop Fieldhouse to take the field, and to their left, the Bulldogs from South Carolina State University are making that exact same walk. Of course, the boys from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and South Carolina State They did not have that far of a trip to come down here, so there is a good number of SCSU fans that are here for today's game. They brought their band as well. The halftime show here on NCAA.com should be something to behold, with both teams' bands performing at halftime. You can see the statue that, of course, is touched by every Georgia Southern player. Lots of legends in this program when you have been to now 17 playoff appearances at the FCS level, and you have won 6 national championships. There's lots of legends to behold. South Carolina State has their share of legends as well, as the Bulldogs are also taking the field. Georgia Southern comes to us from the Southern Conference, the SoCon, with a 7-4 record. They have won their last 3 games this season, their last 2 away from home here at Paulson Stadium. But their biggest victory of the season came back on November the 6th when they knocked off perennial powerhouse Appalachian State. App State finished their season last week, at least their regular season, by playing against Florida. App State, one of the 12 teams that has a bye this week, and Appalachian State, again, as per usual, thought to be one of the contenders, if not the favorite, for the FCS championship game on January the 7th. The story for Georgia Southern: back to basics, back to running the football, and hopefully for them a return to power in this level of football. They are running the football, then they are running the football. After that, they run the football some more. This Eagles squad averages 57 carries a game. They complete just 6 passes a game. They're going to run on the field. As you can see, here are our screens on NCAA.com, with not a capacity house, but a loud house for sure here at Paulson Stadium. Their opponents in white today, South Carolina State. The Bulldogs, their 3rd consecutive appearance in the FCS playoffs. They are from the MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Last year crowned by multiple outlets as the national champion amongst historically black colleges and universities. This season, defense has been their calling. They are allowing opponents just 2 yards rushing per attempt on this season. And if you take total plays into account, including passing numbers as well, the average gain per play against this South Carolina State squad this season, 3.2 yards. So they're averaging a 3 and out defensively every time they step on the field. Again, absolutely phenomenal numbers. We'll take you down to the field. Our referee, Todd Dunaway, is there for the coin toss. Brent Vanderwylen, our cameraman, down on the 50-yard line as we speak. So Georgia Southern wins the toss, elects to defer. South Carolina State will take the football. And the wind is blowing rather stiffly out of the west today, so I would say which end of the field you take will have an impact on the festivities today, and Georgia Southern will have the wind at their back in quarter number 1. Against South Carolina State will be going into the wind here in quarter number 1. You got one side of the stadium yelling Georgia. This side of the stadium where we're perched high atop the press box yelling Southern. There you see Jay Beauchamp, starting quarterback for Georgia Southern. Again, he is asked to do a lot more with his feet than he is with his arm. However, in their last game, Shaw went 5 for 6 for 126 yards passing. So certainly capable of throwing the football when asked to. Fantastic atmosphere here for this FCF playoff game again. National champions were the Georgia Southern Eagles in 85, 86, 89, 90, 99, and 2000. First-year head coach Jeff Monken, 7-4, the record for Georgia Southern on this season. Jeff has spent the last several years following the career of Paul Johnson. Paul, of course, was here from 97 through 2001. Then went to the U.S. Naval Academy. And now, not far up the road in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. And of course, the triple option offense has been a staple of Paul Johnson's. Jeff was an assistant coach here at Georgia Southern when Paul was here. Hence, the triple option has returned to Statesboro, Georgia on this 2010 season. And as we mentioned, for the first time in 5 years, Georgia Southern back into the playoffs. Georgia Southern all-time in playoff football here, 29-3 at Paulson Stadium. South Carolina State trying to become the first MEAC school to win a FCS playoff game since 1999. Kicking it off for Georgia Southern will be Billy Greer. The 2010 FCS playoffs are underway, and again with that breeze at his back, Greer clears the end zone. It's a nice 80-yard drive, if you will, to start things off from Greer, and South Carolina State will take the field first and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Quarterback that will lead SCST onto the field is Malcolm Long. He is a senior. Last year, Long threw for over 2,500 yards. Long this season, a little under 1,800 yards. He's thrown for 8 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions on the season. Power I formation will be the primary formation for SC State, but they will begin this in a 4 wide receiver set and in the shotgun. Quick hitting pass is knocked down. Roderick Tinsley, one of a pair of Georgia Southern players that were there. Javon Mention was there as well for Georgia Southern. So 2nd and 10. South Carolina State comes into this contest winners of their last 5. Motion man. Handoff goes up the middle and not much there. E.J. Webb, Josh Rowe, and others there to make the play. Take a quick look at it here. So Ashton Jordan, the ball carrier, began his career at the Citadel before transferring to South Carolina State. No gain, 3rd and 10. And the South Carolina State team has averaged 32 points a game, and its defense where they've made their mark this season. Hit as he throws. Is the catch made? Yes. It is hung on to. Grab down the sideline made by Tyler McDonald for South Carolina State. It's a gain of 34. And right there, you see the juggling grab on the replay. Westbrook's in coverage for Georgia Southern. But we saw for the first time today the true arm strength of the quarterback for South Carolina State in Malcolm Long. He was absolutely plastered as he threw that football and chucked it 34 yards down the field into that stiff westerly breeze. On the end around, toss goes left side. Linnell Elmore met and dropped. Josh Gebhardt, freshman defensive end. It's a loss of 6 on the play. Take a look at this here, and again Gebhardt just waiting on the end around to Elmore. Elmore will see him not only in that wide receiver role for South Carolina State, but also in a kick return role as well. You see Malcolm Long, a little big for a quarterback. Program lists him at 250, and talking with some of the SC State folks before this contest, he said, nah, he's a little closer to 270 than he is 250. But what an arm we've seen on display already. 2nd and 16. Quick hitter over the middle. McDonald makes the catch, slips on the turf after only a 1-yard gain. There was some room to run there, but the turf monster comes up and gets McDonald. So call it 3rd down and 15 coming up here for South Carolina State. Eubanks, who plays the bandit position, kind of a hybrid linebacker and safety spot for Georgia Southern, was there to make the play if McDonald had not slipped. We've already seen 1 3rd and long conversion here to start this contest for South Carolina State. 4-man rush. Quick hitter in the flat, overthrown. Again, McDonald, a freshman, was the intended receiver. And that ball well overthrown, and we will now see Blake Erickson, who handles both the punts and the kickoff duties for South Carolina State. He's an outstanding kicker. 17 for 20 in field goals on the season. Punter, maybe not as great. 35 yards per kick, and again, picking into the breeze. It is dying down a little bit as we speak. Robinson back deep to return for Georgia Southern. Erickson's kick knocked down by that win. Robinson will field. Fair catch, and he'll be on his own 20-yard line. So just a 31-yard kick, no return, and Georgia Southern will take the field. Let's see their starting lineup for this triple option attack Jabo Shaw again as the starting quarterback, and the true freshman fullback is Robert Brown. Brown and Shaw again will do the majority of the ball carrying for this Georgia Southern squad. You'll see 2 wide receivers, but they might as well be additional tackles. They do not throw the ball that much. Wilcox, so you see the man standing up atop the formation for Georgia Southern, is their leading receiver on the season with 18 grabs. Shaw on the keep, late pitch. Robinson is there. The South Carolina State defense. Good job in team pursuit, but still a 5-yard pickup by Darian Robinson from his slot back spot. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Take a look at it here. Again, South Carolina State did a great job of reading the pitch, but Robinson did a fantastic job from spinning away from several tacklers. Eventually, Pat Washington, junior defensive end, was there to make the play for South Carolina State. So a trademark of this triple option attack. Short, compact formation. Shaw the keeper. He'll be shy of a first down. Give him 3. Tackle is made by Jason Ayers, senior defensive end for South Carolina State. Go ahead and give him a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 1. And it is a beautiful day. A little chilly in these parts for this time of year. It's still fantastic football weather. And when you're one of these 2 schools and you're still playing football come Thanksgiving weekend, you don't care about the weather. Just happy they called your number, you're still playing. So call it 3rd down and a yard here for Georgia Southern. Shaw again on the keeper, and it'll be a first down. So Shaw needed the 30, gets the 31. Call it a gain of 2. Christian Thompson, transfer from Auburn, there to make the tackle for South Carolina State. Time of possession, as you'd expect with a team that runs the football as many times as Georgia Southern does, certainly in their favor. They have averaged 7 minutes more in TOP this season than their opponents. It is strength versus strength today. The rushing attack of this Georgia Southern squad and the rushing defense of SC State. End around to Robinson. Close to the first down marker. Calling a pickup of 9 before Wilkerson was there to take him down. Robinson makes it 2nd down and 1. A little bit of a wrinkle in formation that time. They actually overloaded to the right side, the bottom side of your screen. But ran opposite, ran to the short side. And we'll see a similar formation here. This time Brown on the keep. First time Brown's number has been called, and South Carolina State was there. So no gain for that South Carolina State defense. Let's show you their starters here for the Bulldogs. And the young man to watch is David Irby, number 4. Plays the dog linebacker spot, as they call it. Their leading tackler, and he was the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. So no gain for Brown. 3rd down and 1 for Georgia Southern. See a 2-back set in the backfield this time for GSU. Again, Brown the fullback, right behind Jabo Shaw the quarterback. Handoff goes to the second man through. Second effort gets him right to the first down marker. Marshall McFadden was there to make the play. That was Wilcox on the carry. And from where they're marking, I think he's about an inch or 2 short. We'll see the chain gang come out for the first time this afternoon. We're seated about 4 yards past that mark here at Paulson Stadium this afternoon. They've got a pretty good vantage point, and again, from where they marked it, I think he is just shy. And we'll have the proof momentarily. They pull the chains tight, and he's short. And now if you're an offense in Georgia Southern that prides yourself in your ability to make yards and rushing the football, I'd say 4th and 3 inches, an opportunity to run it one more time. Now we'll see. You potentially play the field position game here. Also knowing you've got the all-conference punter, as well as you've got the wind at your back. But jumbo formation coming in here for Georgia Southern. Fans from both sides rise to their feet. The Eagles going to go for it on 4th and inches. Hard count by Shaw. He's got it, first down. This went right between his center and his right guard. Mann and Maxwell. Kind of falling forward, throwing the key blocks, and right between the nose guard and defensive tackle. Shaw needed a couple of inches. He gets a couple of yards. First down for the Eagles of Georgia Southern. Now GSU back in their conventional set with one wide to each side. The two slot backs in Wilcox and Robinson. And Brown in there as the fullback. Brown, first down and more, up the middle. Still going. And finally will be taken down by Ellis at the 21-yard line. Ball popped free. But it was down by contact, no fumble. And this is the Georgia Southern offense. 3 yards here, 4 yards there, then about 40 yards right there. Officially, it was a gain of 36. First down for Georgia Southern. So third first down of the drive, and already we are down to under 9 minutes left to go here in the opening quarter in Statesboro. Handoff again goes to Brown. So after going off left tackle the first 3 or 4 plays, now it's been a heavy dose of Brown up the middle. He'll take it inside the 20. A little pushing and shoving going on after that play, but no flags thrown. Give Brown a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5 coming up. Marshall McFadden will get on the tackle. Got to thank Charlie Jones for being our spotter today here on NCAA.com. And thanks to Allison as well, being our assistant from the student broadcast department here at Georgia Southern. Several students from the GSU program have been helping us today, and for that we are most appreciative. Second down and 5. Shaw, late pitch. That's Wilcox. Wilcox has a first down. It'll be first and goal for Georgia Southern at the South Carolina State 5-yard line. Ellis there to make the stop. But when the free safety's making a lot of tackles for Bulldog fans, that's not a good sign. And so this drive has taken 75 yards. It has taken a large majority of the time here in quarter number 1. 7:50 and counting left to go in the first quarter. And it's first and goal for Georgia Southern. Again, quick toss, Wilcox. Wilcox, touchdown. J.J. Wilcox from 5 yards out. It is his 5th touchdown of the season. And Georgia Southern has their 33rd rushing touchdown of the season. And the Eagles are out to a 6-0 lead. Now that is textbook Georgia Southern football right there. On for the extra point. Is the kicker. Moya. Adrian Mora, excuse me. He has never missed an extra point here at Georgia Southern, and he doesn't miss right there. 7:37 left to go first quarter. Georgia Southern leads 7-0 here on NCAA.com. Welcome back to Statesboro, Georgia. Greg Rakestraw with you on NCAA.com. As per usual, great job being done by our production team for today's event from Hometown Sports Indiana. Rick Vanderweilen, Alan Hughes, Roy Johnson, John Glowieski, Brent Vanderweilen, and thanks to Patrick Griffin joining us from the student staff here at Georgia Southern on our end zone camera this afternoon. Couldn't have started any better for Georgia Southern. They give up one first down and force an SC State punt. They go 80 yards on the ground. And Greer again with that wind behind him puts this one in the end zone. It's bobbled. It's in play. They've got to bring this one out. This could be a safety. It's going to be a safety. Folks, you might see one of those every 5 years. Because of where the ball came out, this one had to be played. It was touched in the field of play. If that thing is kind of muffed and immediately the runner for South Carolina State goes down and takes a knee, that's a touchback. But because it was brought into the end zone, then brought out, you have to run that back out. Again, if he kind of takes a knee right there, that's a touchback. But because he did not, that is a safety. It is a 9-0 lead. And when I said it could not have gotten any better for Georgia Southern, I was wrong. It just got better for Georgia Southern, and it just got worse for the Bulldogs from South Carolina State. And so now, SC State will have to punt from their own 20-yard line into the breeze, which will give Georgia Southern, you would think, fantastic field position. And the last thing that you want to do against a team that is such a run-dominant team like Georgia Southern is spot them a big lead. And it is a two-possession game already, 7.5 minutes into the first quarter. And things may only be getting just started with this Georgia Southern squad. So Erickson on for the free kick. Now he can elect to kick this one away, and because he's putting the tee down, he's actually going to. So normally we see this to be a punt, but again, the team has the option of kicking. And again, Erickson, as we mentioned earlier, is a stronger kicker than he is punter. And again, into that breeze, we could really see from our vantage point atop the press box, his punt got knocked down by that wind, so he's going to kick it. Good boot, but again, the wind knocks it down. Fielded at the 25-yard line. Excellent special teams work. That ball's loose. Ball's loose. Did South Carolina State fall on it? Ball is free. SC State says they've got it. Still waiting for an official signal. The defense always thinks they've got it. They're still unpiling bodies. You take a look at it here. We've got an official signal. Bulldogs have the football. Well, how about that for back-to-back special teams plays? The return man was LaRon Scott, all conference in the SoCon, returning kicks this year, starting cornerback. First player down there in coverage for South Carolina State was Donovan Richard. Couldn't see who the second man was that got Scott low, but it was the second guy that came in. Richard had him up top. It was the second man that came in down low and knocked that football free. So just when you thought things were all going one direction, they've completely gone the other way. And South Carolina State now has the football at the Georgia Southern 34-yard line. Here comes pressure, but out in the flat. Was it caught or was it short hop? The response is it was caught. That was the tailback in Jordan that made the grab. One of the Georgia Southern folks thought that ball was short hopped by Long. But the official in the spot says no, catch was made. That's a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for SC State. Ashton Jordan, the sophomore tailback who made that grab, is the lone running back in this formation. And now, flag is thrown. Colbreth, I think the left tackle, was the man that flinched.
We'll start on the offense, number 93, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That is our referee, Todd Dunaway. First flag thrown in today's contest. So from 2nd down and 4 now to 2nd down and 9. You can hear the wind picking up here. Unfortunately, our production crew from Indianapolis, we have to apologize to all these Georgia folks. We brought the cold weather with us. Again, it's not cold per se for the rest of the country. But a little chillier down here than they're used to in far southeastern Georgia this time of year. I think it was 80 on Thanksgiving Day a couple of days ago. I'd say it's upper 50s today. Long looking for the deep ball. Two-man pattern. Overthrows everybody. McDonald was the intended receiver. Carson Hill was in coverage for Georgia Southern. So 3rd down and 9 here for SC State. We'll take one more look at it here. As you can see from that replay, a good 5 yards overthrown. Hill, a senior backup cornerback, normally the backup to the cornerback, Lavelle Westbrooks. But Westbrooks not on the field currently, so Hill getting that spot as we speak. So 3rd down and 9, what you would assume would be 4-down territory here. Long facing pressure, just to try and get rid of it. Brent Russell, nose guard, applying pressure, and right now the battle line of scrimmage is going all the way of Georgia Southern. And Long is a big quarterback. He is not exactly a mobile quarterback, and he will have to throw that one away. So Erickson on to punt. SC State cannot convert on the short field, but if nothing else, they should get good field position out of this. Darian Robinson back to return for Georgia Southern. And Erickson's kick will just go straight into that wind and drop straight down and be fielded at the 6-yard line by South Carolina State. Well, that wind is strong enough, but really Erickson would have to pooch kick that one. He could just kick it straight away and let the wind knock it down. Aaron Norwood was there to down that one for SC State. So Georgia Southern will take over at their own 6-yard line. Took it 80 yards in their last drive, and now they'll look to take it, I wouldn't say 95. Here you see Jabo Shaw, quarterback, leading his troops back onto the field. Shaw is a junior, 6 foot, 201 pounds. On the season, 59 completions, 111 attempts, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Again, they do not throw it much. And now up 9-0 already here in the first quarter. I'd say they'll be less likely to throw the football. Shaw, the late pitch. Shaw took a pretty good lick behind the play, and he's hurt. He is immediately calling for help from the sideline. The ball carrier was Nico Hickey, and he got upended by Dominique Ellis. But the main cause for concern happened behind the play for Georgia Southern. It is Jabo Shaw who has not gotten up. It was a last-minute pitch, and as he was hit, he remained down. The backup is Jarek McKinnon, who has played in 8 of the 11 games this season for Georgia Southern. And he is the second leading rusher on this Georgia Southern squad with 352 yards, but he is still the backup. And as we watch the replay here, he got stuck off that line of scrimmage. And I want to say that was Christian Thompson, the strong safety, that got him with that shoulder. And again, when you're the ball carrier as a quarterback, you're going to take more pops than you do, say, as a passing quarterback. So that's happened to Shaw, I'm sure, before. But he immediately signaled to the sideline that he needed some help. So McKinnon awaits on the sideline. Training staff still talking with Shaw. Let's go ahead and step away for a brief bit. Georgia Southern leading South Carolina State 9-0, and we're back in a moment on NCAA.com. Let's take one more look at Jabo Shaw. Gets around Ayers, makes the pitch, and then Thompson plants him. So Shaw is being slowly assisted to the sidelines. You would think that his return would be highly doubtful the remainder of this game for Georgia Southern. Shaw, the third leading ground carrier on the season for Georgia Southern, now will be replaced by the second leading ground gainer on the season for GSU, and that is Jarrett McKinnon. McKinnon is a freshman. Young man from Marietta, Georgia, the suburbs of Atlanta. One of the great things about these two squads, they get their kids from home. A lot of Georgia kids in the Southern squad. A lot of kids from the Palmetto State, South Carolina for SC State. So the freshman is on, 2nd down and 8 at his own 7-yard line. McKinnon, the pitch to Wilcox, hit and dropped. And that is Ellis again. We have called his name early and often this afternoon. The South Carolina State squad had great preparation early in the season for facing this Georgia Southern team. They opened the campaign against Georgia Tech. Of course, Paul Johnson, as we noted earlier, coached here, then coached at Navy, then coached at Tech. The only problem is for State, they haven't played against this offense in about 11 games. They certainly seem a little more ready for it here in series number 2. 3rd down and 6 coming up for GSU. McKinnon on the season has attempted just 5 passes. He'll throw one here. Hickey makes the catch, has a block, has a first down. Nico Hickey makes the grab for Hickey, just his 4th catch of the season. Donovan Richard was there to make the tackle for South Carolina State. Great block out there on the edge for GSU. Trey Butler, freshman wide receiver, made the block that gave Hickey a first down. So the rare pass completion on 3rd and 6 for Georgia Southern will keep this drive alive with 4:50 and counting left to go here in the opening quarter. Little option counter. McKinnon slipped. Seen some problem with guys slipping on the turf today. Calling a gain of 1 or 2. Christian Thompson was there if McKinnon had not gone to the turf. Talking with the GSU folks before this game. They said underneath this great grass we've got here at Paulson Stadium and Glenn Bryant Field, got about 10 feet of sand and gravel. They can handle as much rain as possible. They were all talking about the game back in 1989. Hurricane Hugo went storming by and they played through it on a Saturday night. 2nd down and 8. McKinnon hit and dropped, had no chance to pitch that one. It was Ayers that was there. The 5th-year senior snared McKinnon on that play. 3rd and 11. Look at our end zone camera. And McKinnon, I'm not sure if he was even thinking about pitching that one, but he saw Ayers to his right and Wilkerson in front of him and thought better of it. Loss of 2, 3rd down and 10 coming up. Three-wide pattern this time for Georgia Southern. Here comes pressure. McKinnon hit and dropped. 41st sack of the season for South Carolina State, and David Irby, the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year, was there. You know, the way Georgia Southern runs the ball, I didn't think we'd get much use out of this stat on the season, but South Carolina State, 40 sacks in 11 games. Again, you don't think about pass rush against a school like Georgia Southern, but when you've got to pass on 3rd down and 10, that pass rush comes in awfully handy. So back deep to punt, the punter of the year. First team all-conference, Charlie Edwards for Georgia Southern. Again, wind at his back. He averages 41 yards a kick, and that is a missile. Fielded back at the 35-yard line. And return to the 43. A 55-yard kick. Sasser was there to make the tackle. On the return is Richard Christie, 5th-year senior for South Carolina State, their leading punt returner. So SC State certainly has some momentum on their side with the injury to Shaw. And I'm looking for Shaw on the sideline, and I do not see him. He has already gone back into the locker room. Williams, the motion man here for SC State. Trying to run the stretch play. That's fumbled and knocked away. Gebhardt's got it for Southern. Racing. Touchdown. GSU. Josh Gebhardt. As Long was trying to execute the stretch handoff, he beat him to the punch. That was Russell, the nose guard, that knocked it away. And Gebhardt runs through the tackle of Ashton Jordan for a touchdown. 15-0, Georgia Southern. Moore is on for the extra point. Another extra point, up and good. We'll take one more look at this one. Again, the nose guard beat the running back to the football, and Gebhardt was there to take home the scraps. He races back 36 yards, touchdown Georgia Southern on NCAA.com. Again, great view from our field camera. Russell beats the center and then beats the quarterback to the handoff. As he had that extended to try to get it to Jordan, Russell just swats it away, and Gebhardt quickly picks it up, races in. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. So despite the fact they have lost their starting quarterback, we would assume for the game, on that hit by Thompson, Georgia Southern enjoys a 16-0 advantage with 2:26 left to go here in quarter number one. Certainly a lot for the folks here at Paulson Stadium to yell about. For South Carolina State, for every step forward, it seems about 3 steps go backwards. And once again, Greer will have the benefit of having the wind at his back to kick this one away. Last time, this one was a safety. This time, take a knee and take it to 20. Elmore back deep to return that kick. So SC State's got to be reeling a little bit. Down 16-0, having given up a fumble return touchdown. Let's see if the offense can pick things up for SCSU. Take a look at the starting lineup. Again, Long, their senior quarterback. They lost their top running back in Massey due to a dislocated knee in the Hampton victory back at the end of October. You see Harrison, the right tackle, named the Offensive Lineman of the Year in the MEAC this season. And we're going to see South Carolina State now go to a 5-wide set. And Malcolm Long for the quick strike, finds Elmore. Gets a good block outside. Elmore will be taken down at about the 28-yard line. Good job on the blocks by Christie and Williams. Josh Rowe there to make the tackle. Here's the defense for Georgia Southern. You've seen Gebhardt and Russell's handiwork. Hyden, the strong safety at the bottom of your screen, their leading tackler on the campaign. They call it 2nd down and 7. Did a player move, or was there contact made on the jump? The player that is standing and pointing for Georgia Southern is Roderick Tinsley. He said a man flinched, and that seems to be the case.
False start on the offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
For the tight end was the guilty party in Trent Barnes. So from 2nd down and 3, call it 2nd down and 8. A little discussion going on between the referee and the asking for a clock reset. It currently shows 2:20. They want it to go down to 2:12. Hence the reason for the delay. Now we've got it solved. We can get back to action. You'll see a shot right up the middle. That is where the domination has been for Georgia Southern's defense throughout this contest. A good look at Javon Mention, defensive tackle. Georgia Southern, they were bringing everybody. They're back out of it for a moment. Play clock is at 9. It's a keeper with the option pass. LaRon Scott couldn't make the tackle, and now it's a 1st down and more. And Scott is down behind the play. Catch was made by Richard Christie. Butler makes the tackle, but Scott is hurt. And that was one heck of a stiff arm by Richard Christie. Butler makes the grab, or the tackle rather, 37-yard line. And Scott will be helped to the sideline. And again, he is their starting cornerback. He is their lead kick returner. He's a man that plays multiple roles for this squad. Now that, from a stat standpoint, will be a run because that ball was lateraled a good couple of yards by the line of scrimmage. But Christie makes the grab, takes that to the 37 for a gain of 15, and just the 2nd SCSU 1st down. Fake the reverse, Jordan the keep. And Jordan will be ushered out of bounds rather rudely by Darius Eubanks. But not before Jordan picks up 4. Now we see South Carolina State saying, okay, you're seeing a lot of aggression. You're seeing a lot of pursuit here by Georgia Southern. Now South Carolina State is trying to counter those moves a little bit by faking the double reverse, by throwing that option pass. Hard way to get 4 yards, as you can see on that replay right there. So clock winds, minute 15 left to play in the quarter. Long fakes the handoff, looking for the deep ball. McDonald is open, but he's just underthrown it again. That's into a stiff breeze. That ball was thrown 55 yards down the field. This is a good look at the Eagle. He's already done his handiwork for the day. They've flown from one corner of the stadium to the other. Just to sit and relax and watch the rest of the afternoon. 3rd and 6 now coming up for South Carolina State. They were tri-champs of the MEAC this season. They share that honor with Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman made the FCS playoffs. FAMU did not. Bethune-Cookman will play host to New Hampshire down in Orlando next Saturday afternoon. They are one of the 12 teams that is sitting out today's games or today's action, awaiting the results of the 4 opening round games that are taking place. Again, in Cedar Falls, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The game between North Dakota State and Robert Morris is a 7 o'clock start at the Fargo Dome tonight. The game in South Carolina sees the Leathernecks of Western Illinois, the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, 10-0. At the Unidome up in Northern Iowa, UNI is leading Lehigh 7-0. That's with 11:57 left to go in the 3rd quarter. The guy performs on command. That's one well-trained Eagle. So 3rd down and 6. Georgia Southern asked for timeout. Their first of 3. Two-back set this time for South Carolina State. Again, GSU showing blitz. Did a man flinch again for SC State? He did. I think it was the left guard.
False start on the offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It was Jake Johnson. And that's a problem for this South Carolina State squad. There were a couple of numbers that immediately struck you in looking at this team. They averaged over 8 penalties a game this season. And about 80 yards in penalties per game. And turnovers an issue as well. We've already seen one return for a touchdown this afternoon. So 3rd down and 11. 4-man rush. Long makes the throw, but McDonald will be thrown down. Josh Rowe was there to make the tackle for Georgia Southern. After a minimal gain, it'll be a punting scenario for SC State. Good job by GSU in coverage. They simply dropped 7 back, allowed the catch underneath. Not much McDonald could do with that one. So Erickson will punt into this breeze for a 3rd time. Darian Robinson back deep to return. And again, a player jumps for South Carolina State. Player on the right side of the line as Georgia Southern shifted, lurched forward. Let's see if he was drawn off by a Georgia Southern player, but I don't think he was.
Ball start on the offense, number 48, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
It was Joe Thomas, redshirt freshman. So yet another marker against South Carolina State, and things are starting to unravel here for the Bulldogs. Erickson just got that one off. I'm not sure if it was blocked or not. Just a rather ugly kick. It'll be down at the 36, but it was touched at about the 40. So take another 4 yards off of that one. Let's take a look here. I don't think that was tipped. It just wasn't well hit because of the pressure that was applied by Georgia Southern. 41-yard line is where this drive will start. The Eagles fans have a lot to be happy about here with just 8.6 seconds left to go in the opening quarter.
Eagles take over 1st and 10.
We see Jarek McKenna. He did get a 1st down via completion in his earlier drive. And now gets to play with the comfort of a 16-0 lead. And how about a reverse? 1st down and more. On the carry, that's Trey Butler. We commented on his blocking earlier. His rushing is pretty good as well. Yet again, Ellis is there to make the tackle for South Carolina State. But Butler on the reverse. Goes for 19 yards and a 1st down for Georgia Southern. Butler on the season. That is just his 2nd carry of the season for a total of 25 yards. We are through 1 quarter of play in Statesboro. Georgia Southern enjoys a 16-0 lead over South Carolina State. We're back in a moment on NCAA.com.
Southern Conference champion.
Welcome back. You know, we said sunny Georgia. We haven't said warm Georgia throughout the course of the broadcast. We're atop the press box here at Paulson Stadium. Again, thanks to Allison and Charlie for helping us out through the broadcast here on NCAA.com. Greg Rakestraw with you, Hometown Sports Indiana, back in Indianapolis. Trust me, it is warmer here than it would be if we were back home on this Saturday afternoon. The volleyball team being recognized here at Georgia Southern. They picked up the Southern Conference or SoCon Championship. They're heading on to the NCAA tournament, which begins for Division I volleyball next weekend. They were honored during the break. Football team, pretty honored how they have played so far, but SC State stops Brown on that one after a 1-yard pickup. Pat Washington was there to lead the charge for SC State after that 1-yard pickup. And this SC State squad, average giving up just 2.2 yards per carry this season. But in the first half, Georgia Southern 17 carries for 97 yards. They carried the ball for 80 on their opening drive. The other 9 points have been scored by special teams and defense, and Brown will carry for a whole bunch there. He'll ramble on down to the 19-yard line. A gain of 20 on the play. Ellis again is there to make the tackle. First down, Georgia Southern. That is the danger of that triple option. A lot of times that fullback dive is there just to keep you honest. With a player like Brown and his explosiveness, that can sometimes be the home run play for GSU. First and 10 Eagles at the South Carolina State 19-yard line. Kind of like you see teams do with the spread option. They line up and then look to the sideline. McKinnon on the keeper, but again, the turf has proved to be an issue today. We had a lot of rain in the last day or so here in Statesboro, but none throughout the course of the day today. Yeah, we have seen players from both sides slip on the grass. McKinnon still got one. Second down and 9. One thing that Georgia Southern does by running the football and looking at the sidelines, they're taking time off the clock. 13-15 left to go here in the second quarter. Hand off to Brown, goes straight up the middle. Irby was there to make the tackle. 3-yard gain from Brown. Field goal range for Georgia Southern. Third down and 6. Thinking about a touchdown and widening this gap over South Carolina State even further. This is the third consecutive appearance for South Carolina State in the FCS playoffs. They have lost the last 2 seasons to a fellow Southern Conference member, Appalachian State. Little counter option here. Late pitch, well read. Ellis again. We don't have the tackle stats in front of us. We have the offensive stats, but that is at least Ellis's 5th tackle, if not more, here at this stage of the game. Robinson, no gain. Mora is on for a field goal attempt. And one thing these two teams had in common, outstanding special teams play, especially the kicker position. Mora on for the field goal, well within his range. Be a 32-yarder. Plenty of lag as he tuck it inside the upright. The answer is yes. 19-0. Georgia Southern in front of South Carolina State. Now with 12:01 left to go in the quarter. Now for South Carolina State, the main goal as of now is not to avoid catastrophe on offense. Haven't given up the fumble return for a touchdown. Now you see Jabo Shaw. No helmet, no pads, and sunglasses. All 3 signs his day is done. With a concussion, and now the question is if this lead can hold up for Georgia Southern. Do you see Shaw next week against William and Mary? But again, McKinnon has proved capable of running this offense, and it's such a run-dominant offense that, no offense to Jabo Shaw, but an injury to a quarterback to a lot of teams can be devastating. I'd say for this team, maybe not as much, and especially a young man like McKinnon who has had so much experience rushing the football this season for Jeff Mondek's squad here at GSU. And one of the treats that we get on this sunny Saturday afternoon, not one great band, but 2. That's the Bulldog Marching Band. You would expect nothing less from South Carolina State than a fantastic performance here. And SCSU brought a great crowd with them. Georgia Southern, a good crowd as per usual. Seats here, again, not counting the berms. You see some of the folks in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. But just the seats here, amount to about 22,000. The estimate for the crowd today is that it's going to be about 20 to 22,000. So for the first time, Greer will kick this one into the breeze. Elmore, along with Richard, back deep to return. Wynn knocks this one down. Elmore fields at his own 11-yard line. Has a seam. Now tries to outrun the kicker and will do so. No flags down. SC State is on the board. 89-yard kick return for Linnell Elmore. And finally, something went right for the Bulldogs. Take a look here. Does a great job as a kick returner. You find one seam and go. One cut and go. And once he got by the kicker, he was going to win the sprint down the sideline. Touchdown, South Carolina State. And the Bulldogs have an extra point to make it 19-7. Erickson on for the extra point. He is 38 of 41 on the campaign. And this one is good. 19-7, Georgia Southern will have the football back in a moment. You're watching the FCS playoffs on NCAA.com. Welcome back to Statesboro, Georgia. Greg Rakestraw with you on NCAA.com. Georgia Southern leading South Carolina State 19-7. 11:50 left to go, second quarter. 89-yard kick return, touchdown by Elmore. You see LaRon Scott back in there. He was dinged up earlier for Georgia Southern. Now he has room to run. Eventually he'll step out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. So Scott, and he was the conference kick returner of the year in the Southern Conference this season. A great job of just cutting and finding holes. And this time he realized he wasn't going to make the corner on this one, so he steps out of bounds. Jeremy White was waiting on him, freshman from Columbia, South Carolina for SC State.
The kicking team, number 20, penalty is 5 yards, will be tacked on to the end of the return. First down.
There was a flag on the play. It was offsides on the kick. So yet another 5 yards goes against South Carolina State. And in penalties, now that's 5 for 26 against SC State. McKinnon on the keeper, and again, Turf Monster. The Turf's got about 9 tackles today. They go down for a gain of 3. Now if you're a Georgia Southern fan, what you hope for the most after South Carolina State got on the board is simply a long extended drive if you're GSU. But certainly with this triple option offense, it's exactly what you expect. extra offensive linemen in this alignment here. 6 down linemen for Georgia Southern. McKinnon, late pitch, loose ball, out of bounds. Right at the line of scrimmage, so no gain, no loss. It'll now be 3rd and 7, and the freshman threw that one behind Wilcox. Wilcox maybe made the mistake of getting a little bit too far out in front of him. Wilcox did not maintain a rushing lane where McKinnon really could throw it to him. So 3rd and 7. Well, now we'll see a couple of receivers come back in here and more of a passing down and distance for GSU. McKinnon officially 1 for 1 passing. The other time he dropped back to pass, he was sacked. This will be a quarterback draw, nowhere to go. Shooting the gap that time for South Carolina State was Rennell Ferguson. The nose guard was there. And McKinnon slips again. So a loss of 3. That was a run all the way. So a 3 and out. Now SC State momentum on their side for the first time today. We'll see Edwards have to kick into that breeze. Edwards' earlier punt, 55 yards. Edwards dropped the turf, but he landed on a player who was blocked down. And so the ruling is no roughing the punter because he landed on a player who was blocked to the turf. That's the reason for the boos that you hear in the background and the reason for no flag that was called. It'll be down at the 22-yard line. It's still a pretty good kick. There by Edwards. So now SC State needs to put something together offensively. They had one big pass play for 34 yards. Had a nice kind of catch and run off of pass for another 15. But their total yards are 55, including -11 in the rushing game. Long will keep it. And he will have a modest gain of 3. And again, not great, but better than going backwards, which has been the case for SC State so far today. It'll be 2nd down and 7. When you've got a player the size of Long at 6'3", and again a program weight of 250. Long pause there for a reason, folks. Having him keep that ball and run right up the middle, not exactly a bad thing. Handoff with all kinds of room. All alone is Wary. The fullback, Scott, will chase him down, but not until the 22-yard line. There's a big play for you. The fullback on the keep. Sometimes there's a hole. Other times there's a canyon. That time the linebacker overcommitted. Josh Rowe from the middle linebacker spot. He had started to bounce outside. I think it was going to be a runoff tackle. He left that spot vacated, no deep safety. And Wary takes it from his own 25 down to the Georgia Southern 21 for 54 yards. Hand off to Jordan. Jordan will get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. So it's been feast or famine for SC State. E.J. Webb there to make the play for Georgia Southern. A lot of plays that have gone backwards, but several plays that have sprung for big gains for the Bulldogs. They are now in field goal range, but again, a touchdown here makes it a 1-score game. A field goal keeps it a 2-score lead. Second down and 10, no gain. Play clock is at 8. Game clock rolls at 8:20. Left to go here in the first half. Again, the handoff to Jordan. Met in the backfield by Gebhardt. Flag thrown, late flag thrown. It's a 1-yard loss, but let's see what happened after the play. One of the offensive linemen is clapping and pointing. In other words, intimating at a personal foul. It could have been a face mask on Gebhardt trying to go after the loose ball. But there's some jawing going on between Josh Harrison for SC State and Brent Russell, the nose tackle for Georgia Southern. And it's going against the Eagles.
After the play ended, personal foul on the defense, number 52. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. Third down.
Unsportsmanlike conduct is the call against Javon Mention, who had happened away from the play. So Gebhardt, you can see there on the replay, did not get face mask, but there was a push and a shove. And right as the play was ending, a flag got tossed from the backside of the play. So it is third. Hang on a second. Timeout's going to be called by SC State. The penalty was half the distance to the goal, but from where that play began, it is not a first down. So it is third and inches just outside the 11-yard line. So South Carolina State will take a timeout. 8:03 remaining. Here you see Buddy Pugh. First good chance to look at the head coach for South Carolina State in his 9th season, 76-28. He has never had a losing season in his days at SC State. Played here at SCSU. Before he was the head coach at South Carolina State, he was an assistant coach for South Carolina for 5 years, including 3 years under Lou Holtz. This SC State program, of course, has been a powerhouse in HBCU football for many, many years. They have been a part of 14 MEAC championships. This is their 5th appearance in the FCS playoffs, and as we mentioned, their 3rd consecutive appearance. Last season, between the NFL and the CFL, 5 players were drafted to play professional football or signed as undrafted free agents. A lot of them in the defensive backfield and wide receiving core from a season ago. Each team, by the way, now has 2 timeouts remaining. Now, we said that the penalty did not make it a first down. As we come back from the timeout, the chains have just moved, and so apparently we're going to have a first down. I'm sure we'll get enough explanation from Todd Dunaway here momentarily. But while we were in our break, the chains just moved. So the remainder of our crew huddling up, as you can see, in the center of the field. John Graham is the umpire, Chris Barney the linesman, Steve Horn the line judge, Kirk Patesel the side judge, Bart Horn the field judge, and Greg Bray the back judge.
Personal foul is an automatic first down. There is no timeout charge to South Carolina State.
All right then. So do not give South Carolina State a timeout, because the clock would have stopped on the personal foul call. So mistake corrected by our officiating crew. 1st and 10 outside the 11. So not first and goal, 1st and 10 for SC State. Again, fake the double reverse. Jordan has to run over his fullback in Wary. He'll be brought down by Michael Butler after a 1-yard loss. Well, again, because of how dominant Georgia Southern has been kind of over the guard and center positions, you now see SC State running a lot of motion, running a lot of off left tackle. Georgia Southern winning those battles as well. And that has been the tenor of this game. It's been a yard here, 5 yards backwards, then 20 yards forward for SC State. 2nd down and 11. Elmore is a motion man. He'll get the deep pitch. Has a couple of blockers. It's a good block from Wary. Nice cutback, and he'll eventually find territory inside the 5. It was a good job by Elmore of letting the play develop. Josh Rowe eventually makes the tackle. Wary got 2 good blocks on Butler on that play. And finally, Rowe, sans hat, will make the play at the 4-yard line after a 9-yard pickup. So 3rd down, and call it a short 3. First down marker is just inside the 2. SC State wanting a touchdown here. Look at Malcolm Long. Long should have been caught for a touchdown. Instead, it was dropped by Trey Williams. Normally in this formation, you see the guy go to the deep receiver who was Wary, but the short receiver in Williams was wide open, and he dropped it. So now SC State will take the sure thing. Got to get points early. They will go for 3, and Erickson, their field goal kicker, who is 17 for 20 on the season, will have a kick that's only 1 yard longer than an extra point. 21 yards, right hash. And this one is good. So the last 10 points on the board have been scored by South Carolina State. With 6:34 left to play in the first half. The Eagles' lead is down to 9. You're watching the FCS playoffs on NCAA.com. Then you see the 6 banners denoting the national championships from 1985 through 2000. Kirk Russell, the head coach for 3 of those, the first 3. Paul Johnson, the head coach for the last 2. And Adrian Peterson, not the one from Minnesota Vikings, the one that played for Chicago Bears for many years, was the star of those last 2 teams. I know Adrian's older brother Mike, who played for the Indianapolis Colts quite well for many years. Scott is back to return this one. His team's lead down to 9. Scott's last return down to the 38-yard line. This one not as far. Still solid, though. Out to the 30. So the Eagles will take over. And again, they are looking for a lengthy drive. Since McKinnon has come in to replace the injured J-Bo Shaw, the offense has made some positive yards, but hasn't made that persistent dent in the SC State defense that we saw early. Again, though, of the 9 points that you see as the difference in this ball game right now, a safety on a botched kickoff return for South Carolina State and a fumble return for a touchdown make the difference for GSU. Georgia Southern got 80 yards on their opening drive. Since that time, 49 yards of offense. Brown, fullback dive. Irby and others were there to make the play. Ferguson was there as well. Give Brown maybe 1 or 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Brown on the day, 8 carries for 67 yards. And J-Bo Shaw injured about midway through the first quarter on a hit by Christian Thompson, a transfer from Auburn for South Carolina State. And he is done for the day. Don't have an official medical diagnosis, but certainly a concussion, a possibility. Again, Hanif on the fullback dive. That ball came loose. Now Brown fell back on it. Actually, Brown didn't fall back on it. It was an offensive lineman. It was Blake DiBartola that fell back on it. Heads up play by the backup left guard that immediately fell on the football as Brown lost it. So no gain. 3rd down and 8. The momentum has been backed by a stiff breeze. My spotter Charlie Jones pointed this out to me during the break. All points have been scored with the wind at the back of these teams here so far. 3rd and 8, McKinnon again just going to try to run it. Ferguson had none of that. Loss of 1 on the play. And we have seen now the middle of these 2 defenses really stiffen up. That's where the pressure has come from. Not from the outside. It's come from right up the middle on both sides. And Rennell Ferguson, you can call that a sack, but again, that was going to be a quarterback draw. That was not a passing. It was a passing down in distance, not really a true passing play for GSU. So what a difference a couple of possessions make. It was 19-0. Georgia State appeared to be in complete control of this game. 89-yard kick return by Linnell Elmore. It's a fake. It's a fake. Rose got it. First down and more to the 50. And eventually upended at the 35-yard line. And a special team's been big this afternoon. Snapped it directly to the up, back, and row. And watch the job of selling this by the Georgia Southern players. Sold it like it was a traditional punt block. Had his two other protectors in that alignment kind of rolled out to Rowe's right to set up that play. So the linebacker turns into a running back and goes from his own 31 to the South Carolina State 36. But the SC State defense is up to the task yet again. Marquise Parks, backup defensive end there to make the play. Wilcox will lose 5. So give Rowe credit for a 33-yard run on the fake punt. Wilcox, though, loses 5. It'll be second down and 15. You see DeBartola rush in there. He's the young man that had that fumble recovery. When he is in there, it is because a jumbo formation is being used by Georgia Southern. Do a quick head count. Only 4 skill players behind the line of scrimmage. 6 offensive linemen. McKinnon will keep. Thompson tries to separate ball from body. He's unsuccessful on that one, but it's his second big stick on a quarterback today. It's a gain of 2 for McKinnon. Watch this hit. Wilkerson was there. Council and others were to help clean up the play. But 3rd and 13, and we are now seeing the fangs on this SC State defense. And when you give up 70 yards a game rushing in college football, that is amazing. And 2 yards per carry has been their average on the season. What opposing teams have done against the Bulldogs. 3rd and 13. McKinnon looking to throw. And short hops his man. Again, McKinnon completed a pass for a first down earlier, but you can tell that's really not his strong suit. It's really not the strong suit of this team. So he used the fake punt already. Now at 4th and 13. Here comes the punt team again. And this one, the ball will actually get to Edwards on this occasion for Georgia Southern. With 2:35 left to go here in the half. It's been an exciting first half and a half. Chock full of big plays, no doubt about it. Edwards gets that one away. Contact was made. Flag is thrown. The kick will eventually fall at the 9-yard line. Now, roughing or running? That makes a big difference. Running, not roughing. Even though he was hit with the shoulder by Thompson, it's not going to be a roughing call because he hit him upper body, not lower body. And so, what Georgia Southern can do is they can mark the 5 yards off at the end of the play and pin South Carolina State back inside their own 10, or they can punt it again. Or in theory, they can go for it.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Which is exactly what they're going to do. So as opposed to taking the punt, watch it here. Again, I think that's the right call. Yeah, Edwards tried to sell it as best he could by flopping to the ground, but that's a 5-yard penalty. But now Georgia Southern will take the 5 yards, and they are lining up to go for it on 4th and 8 at the 34-yard line. Now Jeff Monken again wants a little explanation from our referee and Todd Dunaway as far as why it wasn't a roughing the kicker call, I would assume. But GSU's going to go for it. So yet another penalty. The 6th of the day called against South Carolina State. They've got to get the 26-yard line. McKinnon looking to throw. Down the middle, wide open is Wilcox. Did he make the grab? No. Off the turf and no. GSU goes for the gamble. It does not pay off. And SC State will take over at their own 34-yard line. Wilcox was wide open. It was a beautiful play design. They don't use pass routes very often, the triple option offense, but when they do, they tend to be awfully good. Remember the official, I think it was the field judge who was right there on the play, immediately walked in and said no. Wilcox picked it up off the turf, and was not much of an argument from Wilcox on that play. So the Bulldogs will take over. Remember, they had a timeout back on that personal foul call, so they have all 3 timeouts remaining. Wind at their back. Trailing by 9 here with 2:17 left to go in the first half. Holding call, a big one. Catch is made, but again, wipe that off. It's going to be a hold against South Carolina State. And judging by his reaction, I would say that Javon Mention was the player being held. And that is a 2-man takedown, as you can see on the replay right there. Not one guy was holding, 2 guys were holding on that play. So mark it off 10 yards. It'll be first down and 20. So yet another penalty called against SC State. Handoff goes to Jordan, and Jordan. Russell was there to snag him again. It looked like Jordan had room to run. And Russell just sheds his blocker, and progress stops. A gain of 3 on the play. Russell on the season, 53 tackles, 14.5 for loss, 6 sacks, and that's from the nose guard spot. The tackles for loss and sack numbers are amazing for a guy that plays the nose tackle position. Minute 48 left to go here in the first half. Georgia Southern takes a timeout. They lead 19-10. We're back in a moment on NCAA.com. So Georgia Southern takes the second of their 3 timeouts, with SC State facing 2nd and 17 and now 3rd and 17, trying for the screen. Again, Russell was there to speed up the timing of that play. So now 3rd and 17 with the incomplete pass. No need for a timeout to be burned by GSU. Rose sneaking up to the line of scrimmage for Georgia Southern. Eagles bring 4. Long throws over the middle. First down, McDonald. Scott was there to trip him up, but McDonald makes the grab. First down on the deep middle crossing route. Gain of 17 needed. They pick up 20. That is a strike that is thrown by Long right in the middle of traffic. McDonald's been the favorite target today of SC State. Long overthrows the short cross in Trey Williams. A second down and 10. If Long is given time to throw the football, you can see the weapon he is back there. Maybe not the most accurate quarterback, but an absolute rocket on. Talking with the radio guys from SC State before the game. He said he can go from one end of the field to the other, literally. End zone to end zone. Pass behind McDonald is a great job of adjusting his route in midstream. First down, SC State. The Georgia Southern 41-yard line. Derek Hayden was there to knock him to the turf. Calling a gain of 13 on the play. Here comes the blitz. Rowe hurdles one man. Interception, Hayden. Hayden going to be tackled at the 45-yard line. 10th interception of the season thrown by Malcolm Long. Second turnover of the day. And a turnover bugaboo again bites SC State. Heiden's third pick of the season. 13th Georgia Southern interception of the season. And now the Eagles have the football at their own 46. Minute 11 left to go here in the half. They have one timeout remaining. And again, moving the football in the air has not been their strength. They line up Wilcox as a tight end, left side. And they sneak him down the middle. He's all alone. Jump pass knocked away. Again, I love the formation by Georgia Southern. They lined up Wilcox as a tight end, trying to kind of hide him on that play. And again, that pass by McKinnon into the breeze just knocked it down and then allowed time for the SC State defense to recover. If that ball's in front of Wilcox, that's a touchdown. For 2nd and 10. Let's update you on the scores from elsewhere in the FCS playoffs. Western Illinois leads at Coastal Carolina 10-0. 4:50 left to go, third quarter. And Lehigh now leads at Northern Iowa 14-7 with 13:02 left to go in the fourth quarter. And Georgia Southern has to burn their
timeout. Georgia Southern, their final timeout of the half.
Because the play clock was about to hit 0. So with 1:03 left to go in the first half, we'll take a timeout as well. Georgia Southern leads by 9 on NCAA.com. See folks enjoying this cool late autumn day here in Statesboro, Georgia. We're about 55 miles to the west of the Atlantic Ocean in Savannah, Georgia. Just off of US 301 and 67. Here comes pressure. There goes McKinnon. Ayers there to make the play for SC State. This D is just tenacious for South Carolina State. As we mentioned, 40 sacks in the season. And now with no timeouts remaining and facing a 3rd down and 20, Georgia Southern is in no hurry whatsoever. They're going to let as much time come off the clock as possible. 35 seconds and counting left to go here in the half. They can let the clock get down to about 19 seconds before they have to snap the football. McKinnon's doing exactly that. He's looking back at the clock. They can't call a timeout. He's got to snap it. And he'll do that here and simply just get rid of it to Brown. Will State call a timeout? Looks like the answer is no. We are apparently going to halftime with it 19-10. So Georgia Southern scored the first 19. SC State the last 10. It's been an exciting ball game, no doubt about it, here in the opening round of the FCS playoffs. From Statesboro, Georgia, you're watching the opening round of FCS football playoff action. We're back in a moment on NCAA.com.
Good afternoon, Paulson Stadium. Will you please welcome to the field for your halftime entertainment the Georgia Southern University marching band, Southern Pride. Drum majors for Southern Pride are Grant Dole, Justin Graves, and Ashley Hooker. Staff assistants are Zach Towery, Jessica Carpenter, and Mike Thomas. Auxiliary coordinator is Kelly Pennick. Southern Pride is under the direction of Associate Director of Band, Dr. Matt Fowler. The show this afternoon contains music composed and performed by a band from the mid-1960s. Today, we'll be playing a Q2 medley, including the titles Baba O'Reilly and Who Are You? Performing the music of Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey, John Entwistle, and Keith Moon, Southern Pride now presents The Who.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. From the beautiful Garden City of Orangeburg, South Carolina, for the next 360 seconds, we ask that you fasten your seatbelts. Your wait is finally over. The prolific marching band of 2010 is now in Statesboro, Georgia. On behalf of Mr. Eddie Ellis, Director of University Band, you are looking live at the Intermission Magicians, Georgia Southern, Statesboro, Bulldogs, on your feet, and welcome to South Carolina State University, Marching 101. The 101 connection is here. Live for 101 Club extraordinaire from Atlanta, Georgia, with Alexandria Samuel. Let's go marching 101. Spotlight Jewel in Statesboro, Georgia. Is now here. It's time for the dance routine. Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. New edition. Candy Girl. The only marching band that can turn the dance scene into action music video. The old ladies can check out this lane. You may now visit the concession because the show is now over. The STFC Barcelona is representing Mr. Eddie Miller. On behalf of our entire staff, from our family to yours, we wish you seasoned greetings and a blessed new year.
The NCAA salutes its 400,000 student athletes participating in 23 sports and 88 national championships. Watch the board throughout today's championships. More information about those 88 championships are logged on to NCAA.com. The NCAA would like to say thanks to our corporate champions, AT&T, Capital One, and Coca-Cola, as well as our corporate partners, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Hershey, The Hartford, LG, Lowe's, Planners, State Farm Insurance, and UPS. Their support has enhanced the NCAA championships and the educational and athletic experiences of our 400,000 student athletes. Fans, don't forget to support your team today by purchasing championship merchandise from the NCAA Team Shop located on the concourse at Boston Stadium. And you can obtain your championship photos at NCAA.com. Now for photos from all 88 NCAA championships, purchase a photo of your favorite NCAA championship memory by logging on to NCAA.com/photos. The NCAA Eligibility Center salutes the more than 54,000 student athletes participating in championships this year. For more information about the Eligibility Center, log on to ncaastudent.org. Follow your dreams, get eligible, stay eligible. The NCAA Experience offers official ticket and hospitality fan packages for selected NCAA championships. Visit ncaa.com/hospitality for more information. And you can log on to ncaa.com, click your opinion count, and give us your feedback on this experience at the NCAA Championship today. Fans, CBS Sports presents championships of the NCAA. 14 NCAA Fall Championships to be featured in our 1-hour special. Highlights and stories from across country, field hockey, soccer, volleyball, and water polo will be featured in the CBS Fall Seasonal Show, which airs Saturday, December the 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS in HD. NCAA fans, check out NCAA On Demand, where you can get classic championship videos. Log on to ncaa.com/NCAA On Demand and get your part of NCAA history. Fans, remember to recycle your aluminum, plastic, and glass bottles in the blue bags in the tailgate area. Don't forget, you can experience the life of the student athletes by watching the weekly NCAA On Campus online at ncaa.com. If you have an idea for a story for the NCAA On Campus show, let us know about it. Email your idea to us at ncaaoncampus@ncaa.org. We'd love to hear from you. It's everything NCAA and it's on campus now on ncaa.com. If you want to take a piece of an NCAA championship home with you, pick up your official NCAA championship program at the NCAA Team Shop. No forget, you can get your tickets now for the Division I Football Championship. January the 7th at Pizza Hut Park, Frisco, Texas, hosted by the Southland Conference. Just log on to ncaa.com/football for more information. Fans, you can be a part of the NCAA online community. Go to ncaa.org/social media for more information on that. Do you demand the best? Well, you can log on to NCAA On Demand and get the best. The best NCAA championships in all sports and all divisions. Log on to ncaa.com.
Once again, welcome back to Statesboro, Georgia. Greg Rakestraw with you on NCAA.com. We are at halftime. Georgia Southern leading South Carolina State 19-10 in this opening round matchup. Lots of highlights to get to from half number one. Several big plays by both sides. Let's take a look. Malcolm Long, starting quarterback for South Carolina State on their opening drive, took a pop. Still found a way to get a 34-yard completion down to Tyler McDonald. That would give SC State the football at the Georgia Southern 46-yard line. However, they went 3 and out after that point. Georgia Southern then would go 80 yards all on the ground in their next drive. That is the freshman fullback and Robert Brown, who would take it deep into SC State territory. Eventually, it was J.J. Wilcox who would take it into the end zone for the touchdown. Extra point by Mora was good. That would make it 7-0. Then disaster on this kickoff. SC State could not field it cleanly, and again, could not take a knee in the end zone because the ball had crossed the plane of the goal line. That is a safety. It's 9-0 in favor of Georgia Southern. But on the ensuing free kick, the ball was fumbled by LaRon Scott and recovered by SC State. They would take over at the Georgia Southern 34-yard line. However, SC State really couldn't get anything going on this drive, so they would trade punts. Then, after they got the ball back from Georgia Southern, first play from the line of scrimmage, ball knocked free by the nose guard in Russell. Gebhardt picks it up, rumbles 36 yards for the touchdown. Extra point was good. That made it 16-0 in favor of Georgia Southern late into the first quarter. Here we see Long on the lateral again. They ended up calling, I think, a pass from a stat standpoint. Really, that was a rush. Richard Christie able to make that grab for 15 yards and a first down for South Carolina State. This is still in quarter number one. Then we see Linnell Elmore after a field goal by Georgia Southern made it 19-0. Elmore takes it 89 yards, and this got SC State on the board. Extra point by Erickson would be good. 19-7 then was the score at this time in favor of South Carolina, or in favor of Georgia Southern. Then it was Chris Wary, 54 yards on the fullback dive. Eventually, LaRon Scott would track him down. Devin Wary, I think I said Chris, excuse me. Devin Wary, 54 yards on the plunge, and that would take South Carolina State deep into Georgia State territory. But at 3rd and 2 from the 4-yard line, what should have been a touchdown pass was dropped by Trey Williams. They would kick a field goal to make it 19-10. From that point in time, the SC State defense really stiffened. You see Wilcox lose 5 on an end around. SC State was driving late in the half, but Derek Hyden jumps in front of that pass and gets the interception, his 3rd of the season, 2nd state turnover of the day. 19-10 is our score at halftime. McKinnon would get sacked one more time. Again, he doesn't pass it much, in for the injured Jay Beauchamp, but the pass defense has been rugged, to say the least, from South Carolina State so far this afternoon. Now you see some of the stats in the first half, and as we talked about, a half of big plays. Only 14 first downs in the half between the two sides. And we talked about in the highlights that Wary had a 54-yard rush. So we can look at the rushing yards. 11 carries for 55 yards, 1 for 54. The other 10 have gone for 1 yard, and just 7 yards passed from Georgia State. That is not that big of a surprise, though, because, again, of how infrequently they pass the football. Other two big numbers there. Turnovers, 2-0 in favor of South Carolina State. That's been a problem for them all season long. And time of possession, again, not surprisingly, in favor of Georgia Southern. Nearly 20 minutes to 10 minutes of holding the football for GSU in the first half. Our score at halftime, Georgia Southern 19 and South Carolina State 10. We're back with the opening second half kickoff in a moment here on NCAA.com. So South Carolina State will have the wind at their back in the third quarter. Wind has died down a little bit. LaRon Scott will field inside his 10-yard line. And had a good kick return earlier. Might have a good one again here. Cuts outside, gets a block, now has a wall of blockers in front. And finally will be taken down at the 35-yard line. Making the tackle for SCSU is Richie Staggers. No flags, all the way down to the 35-yard line. And this game of big plays continues. As it looked like Scott will be bottled up inside his own 30. It's a couple of extra blocks. A short field to work with for Georgia Southern here on this opening drive of quarter number 2. Wilcox is the motion man. McKinnon on the keep. Again, runs right into the teeth of that defense for South Carolina State. Pat Washington was there to make the tackle after a 1-yard gain. They'll start the drive at the 34, so forward progress on that one to the 33. Call it 2nd down and 9. Georgia Southern, 34 carries, 148 yards. That is certainly more than SC State normally gives up. But again, all told, given how strong this GSU rushing attack is, that's not that bad of a number if you're SC State. Late pitch goes to Robinson. And Ellis is there to make the tackle. So Robinson, first time we've seen him carry the ball in that formation today from his slot back position. Good job of keeping the legs driving forward after the initial hit. We'll get a couple of yards. And it'll be 3rd down and 7 in what we expect to be probably 4-down territory here for GSU. And the Eagles making their first postseason appearance since 2005. It is their 17th appearance in the FCS playoffs. 6-time national champs. McKinnon, kind of a busted play. I think he made a mistake on that one. He'll lose a yard. It'll be 4th down and 8 now at the SC State 32-yard line. Wilkerson was there to make the tackle, amongst others, for SC State. And again, we see another slip on the turf. And here comes the punt team back out for GSU. And they ran. No, it's the field goal unit. They're going to try for the 3. So Mora, again, wind in his face, but it has died down. And now, South Carolina State will call for a timeout.
South Carolina State, their first time out of the half.
No, it was the field goal unit for Mora, but obviously with a little bit of a variation of formation there. With about 6 blockers in the bottom side of your screen. Somewhat of a swinging gate, but at least enough to draw the attention for head coach Buddy Pugh for SC State and make them use one of their second half timeouts, with just 12:49 left to go in the third quarter. So just underway here in quarter number 3 if you're just rejoining us on NCAA.com. And this is one of 4 games taking place today in the opening round of the FCS playoffs. The final game at North Dakota State does not kick until 7 o'clock Eastern time up at the Fargo Dome. Elsewhere, Western Illinois now leads Coastal Carolina 17-10. That's with 1:50 left to go. And in a final from Cedar Falls, Lehigh beats Northern Iowa 14-7 today. So same formation here. This is going to be a fake. Edwards just chucks it up in the air, and it is picked. Is it caught or picked off? It's caught. Ellis thought he had a play on it. Could not grab it. Carter Jones, the snapper, made the catch. Second trick play executed perfectly on special teams by Georgia Southern today. And the drive continues after a completion of 19 yards. And that was the punter, and Carter Edwards, who was the holder, that made that throw. And it was not a pretty one, but it was effective, and the drive continues for GSU. McKinnon on the keep, First down and more. Cuts back again. Upended at the 6-yard line. Getting that last piece of shoestring was Laterris Douglas. That prevented the touchdown. Great cut back here to avoid Irby. And Douglas again got just enough on the way by to stop the 6. Apparently untied his shoe a little bit there as well, as McKinnon has to relace after the play. So this has been a game of, you wouldn't say ebbs and flows, but momentous swings. Another one has gone the way of Georgia Southern. Handoff Brown. At the 2-yard line. The 2nd and goal coming up here. Fullwood gets credit for the tackle for South Carolina State. And if you're SCSU, a touchdown here, you're still 2 scores away, but you have to get 2 two-point conversions. So any way you can hold Georgia Southern to a field goal here would be awfully big for the Bulldogs from South Carolina. Wilcox, the motion man. Handoff goes to Brown. He'll be stopped at the 1-yard line. So Pat Washington is there. This fearsome foursome from SC State, and you can use that terminology with this team since SC State is the alma mater of one David Deacon Jones. Jumbo formation coming out here, including the nose guard that we have mentioned so often today in Brent Russell. He is also joined out there by Roderick Tinsley, who's the defensive tackle, and John Douglas, the defensive end. Douglas and Russell will line up as fullbacks with Wilcox as the tailback. And did somebody motion or play clock? It was thrown from behind the play, delay a game.
Delay of game on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And for a team that rushes the ball as well as Georgia State does, that is a crushing penalty. Just the 2nd of the afternoon against the Eagles. But as opposed to 3rd and goal at the 1, now it is 3rd and goal at the 6. Play clock in the background. And again, I think that's part of the inexperience you deal with a freshman quarterback. If you're just joining us, the starting quarterback in Jabo Shaw exited the game midway through the 1st quarter. We haven't had the official injury report, but certainly a concussion, given where the hit was located. And we saw Shaw on the sidelines earlier, sans helmet, sans pads, and wearing sunglasses. You can deduce the combination there. 3rd and goal, 6-yard line. Nobody really open for McKinnon to throw to. He'll try to tuck it and run it again eventually. Gets snowed under by Washington and others for SC State. And as we talked about, SC State was hoping for a field goal. So that's what's going to get here, as Mora will come out for what will be about a 22-yard attempt. And the South Carolina State team against FCS competition has not given up more than 21 points in a game this season. We'll give up 22 now as Mora makes good on the field goal. The 2nd made field goal by Georgia Southern today. 22-10. Eagles now lead SC State. 9:41 left to go 3rd quarter. We're back after this on NCAA.com. Fans of all ages having a good time here in Statesboro, Georgia. We appreciate you joining us from anywhere in the world on NCAA.com, part of the All Access package. Georgia Southern now leads South Carolina State 22-10. Special teams have played such a huge role in today's game. 9 points off of field goals. A fake punt for a 34-yard gain and first down for Georgia Southern. Then a fake field goal for a completed pass keeps the drive alive for Georgia Southern. But again, the SC State defense responds, keeps them out of the end zone. A costly penalty helped that as well. It remains a 2-score game at 22-10. This is a short kick, a pooch kick. Fielded, not simply for a fair catch, so tackled immediately, and somewhat to his surprise, I think that was Norwood that made that fair catch over there. That is the case, and maybe he thought he had called for a fair catch. He's kind of stayed there for a second and realized, oh, I kind of have to run with the football. So SC State, 2 big turnovers. One really didn't prove that costly, just ended a drive, a chance to score late in the half, but a fumble that was returned for a touchdown earlier. Long in the pump fake, high throw, picked off. Westbrook's got the deflection. The intended receiver was Richard Christic. Off his hands, and Westbrook played it beautifully. Off his back. And Lavelle Westbrooks, the freshman. Well, yet another turnover by SC State. A little bit of a high throw, but sometimes it's just the breaks of the game as well. And now Georgia Southern. I don't think you can say can go in for the knockout blow here, but a touchdown would make this an awful tough comeback for SC State today. McKinnon on the keeper, shucks the tackle of Irby, runs to another tackle. First down, Georgia Southern. 12-yard pickup. Irby had him dead to rights at the line of scrimmage. And not many guys have run away from the tackle of David Irby, the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year this season. McKinnon does it there. And eventually, surprise, surprise, Ellis is there to make the tackle for SC State. Just a great individual effort by the freshman and Jarrett McKinnon. That's a flag. Player was moving forward. But forget the flag. If the ball was fumbled and goes to South Carolina State, they want the football. Now, if the play's allowed to continue, that's SC State football. Because the player was moving forward, it's an illegal shift. That's blown dead if it's a lineman on a false start, but if it's a skill position player, that's illegal motion. When that ball ends up in the hands of SC State, that's first down Bulldogs.
Illegal shift on the offense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a turnover. First down.
Again, if that's a down lineman, the play is blown dead. That's a wing back. The play is allowed to continue. And the football, on what amounted to a free play for the defense, goes right to South Carolina State. So a missed opportunity by Georgia Southern. Handoff goes to Waring. And he'll take it up the 28-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6.
Gain of 6.
This time it'll be Jordan. And he'll get 1 yard. To call it third down and 3. So we see SC State go right to the ground game here on this drive after the interception turnover on the last drive.
Brings up third down and 3 for South Carolina State.
Long can run for it, but he'll throw for it instead. First down. Now the Georgia Southern defensive backs are saying no, he dropped it, and now the late call is from the back official that he did. Linnell Elmore had it, but apparently not all the way down. Let's take a look. No, he didn't have it. Did not have it all the way down. Ask for a reset of the play clock, hence the reason for the delay. So a missed opportunity for SC State. Good kick with the wind at his back. Robinson back all the way to his 23 to return. And Thompson, outstanding field position in Georgia Southern, will take over, throw 24-yard line with 7:31 left to go in the third quarter.
Eagles will take over first and 10 from the 24-yard line.
So again, the key for Georgia Southern is now to simply hang on to the football. No turnovers. Points would be nice, but the way this offense can carry it out on the ground. Run the football, run the clock. It's the best defense that this Georgia Southern squad has. Toss goes right side, Wilcox. Again, there was room for a moment. Great recovery by the South Carolina State defense. It'll be a gain of 4. For McFadden and others were there to make the play. 2nd and 6. I would say time of possession at this point, probably in the neighborhood of 25 minutes to the neighborhood of 12 for SC State. Handoff goes to Brown, not much there. Ball came loose again. Now the officials, I believe, are saying he was down. The player from South Carolina State walked away with the football. Take a look. Was the knee down?
Brings up 3rd down and 6 for the Eagles.
Really can't tell from that angle. Regardless of our angle, or the opinion of the fans, it's 3rd down for Georgia Southern. So no gain officially on that play. McKinnon on the counter. Late pitch. Read perfectly by South Carolina State. It was Ellis was there to read the play. Brown, one of the rare carries we've seen from him, say off of the tackle position. But as soon as he made the grab, he was popped immediately. Brown will get 1. Georgia Southern will go 3 and out. And if you're just joining us, 19-0 was the lead for Georgia Southern early in the second quarter. And this punt absolutely dead into that breeze. That almost hit a South Carolina State player. It avoided the blocker, Jeremy White, who was down on the play for SC State. It'll be Georgia Southern downing at the 43-yard line. It was a punt in the neighborhood of about 30 yards on that play. So yet another chance here for the Bulldogs. Georgia Southern has kind of let them hang around at this point. Not sure what the officials are talking about here. But we have 5 of the 7 game officials who are discussing something over the football as we speak. Buddy Pugh out there on the field asking for an explanation for South Carolina State. Not sure what the story was, but whatever the case may be, we're about ready to go back to football here. Quick toss goes left side and virtually no gain. E.J. Webb was there to make the play. Catch in the play was made by Tyler McDonald. 2nd and 9 coming up here. So we have seen South Carolina State go to a variety of formations. We've done a little 5 wide work. They'll go 3 wide with a tight end here. Handoff goes to Wary. And Wary says hello to Josh Rowe behind the line of scrimmage. Pretty easy play to describe right there. So a loss of 4. That'll be 3rd down and 13. We've talked about the SC State defense on the season. Let's give a tip of the cap to this Georgia Southern defense. They've been pretty ferocious today as well. Pass intended for Christie. SC State asking for a flag, but I think the general thought will be is that pass was uncatchable. Maybe even incidental contact on the trip of Christie. No flag was thrown. 3 and out for South Carolina State. Erickson once again will punt with the wind behind him. And again, we'll get an outstanding punt. Robinson backs up. Fields inside his own 10. Keeps his balance, and eventually Norwood will stop him. Also there is Tristan Bellamy. But a good return by Robinson. He'll bring it back for about a 14-yard gain on the punt return. And Georgia Southern once again finds themselves in a spot where they simply want to run as much time off the clock as possible. You'll take a big play if you get it. You'll take a touchdown, certainly, if you get it. You want to flip a little field position here. And if nothing else for Georgia Southern, you'd like to be able to hang on to the football till the end of the quarter, because then you would have the wind at your back for quarter number 4. Again, McKinnon on the keep. Does a good job of turning that one upfield, finding positive yardage, and picks up 5 on the play. Dominique Ellis, yet again, was there for South Carolina State. And Darius Drummond to help on that tackle. It's all about moving the chains 10 yards at a time here if you're GSU at this point. Handoff goes up the middle. That's not Brown. It's Lee Banks, the senior fullback. First time we have called his name today. He is just a foot or two shy of the first down marker. So let's call it 3rd. Nope, they're going to go ahead and measure to make sure. The down marker on the side went ahead and had 3rd. We're going to bring chains across just to double check. Nope, just going to mark the football shot. That's the reason for the delay. So 3rd and short coming up here. Just a quarterback keep by McKinnon. He's got it, 1st down. So officially a gain of 2, but again, chains move. 1st down, Georgia Southern. We've seen a wide variety of trick plays, especially on special teams. I think we're seeing many tricks at this point here for Georgia Southern. Run the football, run the clock. Lee Banks will run to daylight. 1st down and more. will be steered out of bounds at the 44-yard line by Drummond and Ellis. That is a 20-yard pickup for the backup. Banks coming in, 49 carries, 194 yards on the season. Banks from not too far away, from Augusta, Georgia, here on the eastern half of the state. See the sun starting to come around this stadium, Paulson Stadium and Glenn Bryant Field. McKinnon, late pitch to Robinson. Will be knocked out of bounds by Irby. But that's a gain of 8. Good job to read the play. Drummond committed to the quarterback. Robinson was there awaiting the pitch. So he stepped out of bounds at the 31, a gain of 7. We'll call it second down and 3. See some of the crowd here on hand, and for a holiday weekend, not a full house, but a pretty crowded house nonetheless. Toss goes to right side of Robinson. Slips, but still has a first down at the 33-yard line. Washington giving chase. But yet again, a first down for Georgia Southern. Almost a face mask. I think he slipped before he could grab that face mask, I believe. So the clock will roll with 2:05 left to go here in quarter number 3. And this is exactly the drive that Georgia Southern needed. McKinnon, the pitch to Wilcox. Good job in run support there. I think that's Mason Harris that was on to make the play. First time we have called his name. Freshman from Virginia Beach, Virginia. One of the few out-of-state players for either one of these schools, both of them. And when you play in Georgia and South Carolina, you don't have to go out of state to recruit talent. Tremendous high school football played in each of those 2 states. Call it a gain of 3. Second and 7. Handoff goes to Banks, the former walk-on. Will pick up 3. The Council will get credit for the tackle. The backup defensive tackle, the senior. So third down and 4, and again, I know GSU loves the kicker in Mora. I think they would take a 3 if they needed to, but they would love to get a touchdown. Clock rolls, 35 seconds and counting. Left to go third quarter. McKinnon again, the turf got him. So Jeff Bach will have to make a decision, but he won't have to make that decision until the 4th quarter. It'll be 4th and 4 coming up for Georgia Southern. And now we will see the wind at the back of GSU going to the 4th quarter. After 3 quarters of play, our score, Georgia Southern 22, South Carolina State 10. You're watching the opening round of the FCS playoffs on NCAA.com. Welcome back. 3 seconds have been put back on the clock at the end of the third quarter. And I'm not sure if a timeout was called or what the explanation is, but 3 seconds have been put back on the clock. Now you wonder if South Carolina State called a timeout trying to force the hand of Georgia Southern. Trying to kick a field goal into the wind, which again isn't terrible, but is a factor in today's game. But it's 4th down and 4, and again, forget the field goal. Well, as I say that, here comes the field goal unit on for Georgia Southern. So Moore will attempt his 3rd field goal of the day. This will be a 45-yarder. He's been awfully accurate this season, and a perfect 2 of 2 today. Gets this one up, and it's good. So into the breeze, and to officially end the third quarter, Georgia Southern is back on the board yet again. Moore's 3rd make of the day to end quarter number 3. Now brings the lead to 15. So our score at the end of 3, Georgia Southern 25 and South Carolina State 10. We're back in a moment on NCAA.com. To the 4th quarter we go here in Statesboro. Eagle fans have had a lot to cheer about today. 25-10, they lead South Carolina State. First return back to the FCS playoffs in 5 seasons for Georgia Southern. You see Linnell Elmore. He has got the lone touchdown today for SC State. Came on a kick return. But now the kickoff specialist in Billy Greer will have the wind at his back. He has put all of his kicks into the end zone with this breeze behind him. This one, he'll do it again. Elmore, though, is going to bring this one out. Slips, lost the football, fight for it. Could this be a second safety on a kick return today? Yes. Elmore landed on the football, recovered in the end zone. He kept his hand up, so the play kept going. Ball knocked away. That's a fumble. Elmore recovers in the end zone. And unbelievably, the second safety on a kickoff today for Georgia State. I can't tell you the last time that happened where we had 1 safety on a kick return, let alone the last time we had 2 safeties on a kick return. That one a little more conventional as far as ball knocked loose, recovered in the end zone, safety. But now that safety makes it an all-important 3-score lead for Georgia Southern in 27-10. And now, again for the second time, South Carolina State will have to kick the ball away after the safety to Georgia Southern. And yet again, the wind will be at the back of the Eagles. Use several adjectives to describe today's game. Exciting, bizarre would be the 2 that I would think of most frequently and most often. Big play after big play, especially on special teams. And if you are Georgia Southern, you have 13 points directly off special teams. Yet your special teams have also given up your only touchdown you've allowed today. You've also run 2 fake plays on special teams for big plays and first downs. It's been quite the ball game. And now a low line drive kick by Erickson. Bobbled, fielded, and eventually Kyle Olbeck will go down at the 39-yard line, and Georgia Southern will begin their next drive at that point. So for Georgia Southern now, it's simply about first downs. And we do not have the time of possession in our hands after the third quarter, but I would say at the way this is going, you'd be looking at a 40-20, if not greater, advantage in today's game in time of possession. McKinnon fakes the dive, spins away from a tackle, and dives awfully close to the first down marker. I think, though, we may have a penalty. Douglas made the tackle. It is a 9-yard gain, but still not sure what the explanation is here. You assume a flag when you see an official walk in and stop play, but there is not a flag on the field.
It's an inadvertent whistle on the play. The result is ball is dead where it was when the whistle was blown. Second down.
Okay, so apparently when the quarterback McKinnon spun out of the tackle, a whistle was blown by mistake. And so instead of 2nd and 1 at the 48-yard line, it'll now be apparently 2nd down and 7 at the 42. Because the play stops when the whistle is blown. That obviously not to the liking of the home fans here. I certainly understand their frustration. We've got the down marker on the near side that says 2. The down marker on the top side says 1. They have actually now moved the football out to the 44, almost if they're splitting the difference. When the officials got to go to both sides to explain the play, that's never a good thing. So the ball was on the 42. It's now on the 44. Had there not been an early whistle on that play, it would have been at the 48-yard line. Apparently have everything squared away. So 2nd and 5 at the 45 is the call. And interesting that we keep seeing Banks out there on the field. We have not seen Brown the last couple of series. It's Banks on the handoff, and the senior will get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Now, important to note that on that field goal with 3 seconds left to go at the end of the quarter, that was a timeout called by South Carolina State. So not only are they trailing in the third quarter by 17, they are down to 1 timeout remaining. So not much in the way of opportunities to stop the clock for Buddy Pugh's team. Little counter option here. Late pitch, Wilcox, first down. Irby was there to make the play, but not before a first down for Georgia Southern at the South Carolina State 48-yard line. Outstanding work there by McKinnon. Made the defender commit. Waited to show the ball on the pitch until the defender had committed to go after the quarterback. So So on 3rd and 5, a gain of 8. And once again, the clock rolls with 13:20 and counting left to go in today's football game. And the winner of this game advances on to take on William and Mary next week. McKinnon just shy of the first down marker on the run right up the middle. Donovan Richard makes the tackle. We've seen that fullback dive be awfully successful, but that time McKinnon faked the handoff to Banks, then used Banks as a blocker, went right behind it for second down the yard. And we said this earlier, I think you could amend it now. A touchdown here would pretty much be a game ender. With 12:40 and counting left to go in the fourth quarter. McKinnon, the keeper, runs off left tackle. First down, 35-yard line, Georgia Southern. 4-yard pickup. Go ahead and give him a 5-yard gain. And McKinnon in for the injured Jay Beauchamp. McKinnon has done a pretty solid job coming in and backing up the junior quarterback for Georgia Southern. And McKinnon has played now in 9 of the 12 games this season for Georgia Southern and came in as the second leading rusher on this team with 352 yards. Toss goes right side. Wilcox reads the blocks nicely. Got tripped up right at the first down marker. David Irby again there to make the play for South Carolina State. They will, I believe, measure to make sure on this one. While we do that, let's thank our crew from Hometown Sports Indiana producing today's game for NCAA.com. Rick Vanderweilen, Alan Hughes, Roy Johnson, John Glowieski, Brent Vanderweilen. Thanks to Patrick Griffin for helping out on camera today as well on our end zone shot today. And there's the rest of our crew. Thanks to Kent, Katie. Thanks to Allison up here with us. Charlie Jones, our spotter today as well. And that is a first down after they measure. So a gain of 10 for Wilcox. Georgia Southern trying to pull off a drive like they had in the opener. They went 80 yards in the opening drive to score a touchdown. Since then, it's really been a series of just kind of big plays. Fumble recoveries, special teams. A couple of safeties thrown in there as well. Banks breaks one tackle. Another first down, and now I think you're starting to see the time of possession kick in here as the offensive line is just wearing on this South Carolina State Bulldog squad. Banks brought down by Mason Harris. Courtney Ingram there as well. But now gains that were going for 3 and 4 are finding 9, 10, and on that case, 12 yards of territory. And the shadow is starting to set in this end zone, and the shadow could be setting on the season for South Carolina State. Handoff goes to Banks. First down. At the 3-yard line. Should be an and goal situation here again. Wilkerson eventually makes the tackle. But Georgia Southern trying to put this one away. And again, here comes the jumbo formation with defenders Roderick Tinsley, John Douglas, and Brent Russell. All entering the game for Jeff Monken's team. Wilcox bounces away from one tackler. Dash to the end zone. He's short. We're going to say knee down before he stretched that ball across the goal line. Second and goal from inside the 1. And amazing to say, with the 27 points on the board, Wilcox has the only offensive touchdown for Georgia Southern today. If you're just joining us, 27. This is like an entry-level math class here at Georgia Southern. 2 safeties, 3 field goals, a fumble return for a touchdown, and the conventional Wilcox touchdown to start the game. McKinnon on the keep. He will not get in. They'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And while Georgia Southern certainly wants to score another touchdown, frankly, failing on a couple of tries is not the worst thing in the world. It runs more time off the clock, and as we noted, SC State has just 1 timeout remaining. By the way, McKinnon on the season, 3 rushing touchdowns. Hand off to Wilcox. This time, no doubt, touchdown. J.J. Wilcox, his 2nd touchdown of the day, and that should pretty much put a capper on this one. 33-10, Georgia Southern with an extra point to come. Mora on for the extra point. Perfect yet again. Georgia Southern's return to the playoffs is going rather perfectly for Eagles fans. It is 34-10 they lead. 9:20 left to play on NCAA.com. (34-10), Georgia Southern in front. Certainly appears they are on their way to face William & Mary next week in Virginia. William & Mary out of the Colonial Athletic Association. This kick, even that will follow instructions for Georgia Southern. Looked like it was going out of bounds. Instead, it makes a right turn in the end zone and a touchback for South Carolina State. The victory here today for Georgia Southern, barring a miraculous comeback by the Bulldogs. The 30th playoff victory here at Paulson Stadium. It is the 37th victory, all told, for Georgia Southern in football playoff action. But again, their first appearance in 5 years. Quick hitting pass, completion is made. Elmore on the grab, is trying to make something happen, still going, and a whole lot of running for a 4-yard pickup. Roderick Tinsley eventually will make the tackle for GSU. Credit Elmore for making a great effort. But eventually you got to go north and south at some point in time. Carson Hill there on the tackle as well. And Mention. Javon Mention. Coming up a little gimpy on that right leg. And also Roderick Tinsley. I think Elmore may have juked a couple of guys into knee braces on that play. 2nd and 6. And the clock once again will roll past the 9-minute mark. Empty set in the backfield. 5 wide on this play. Pass is tipped and intercepted. Gebhardt's got it. Gebhardt has 1 touchdown today. He'll tack on an interception as well. 4th turnover by South Carolina State. That young man, a freshman from Douglasville, Georgia. That time Long was looking downfield and never saw the defensive end drop back. He read the play perfectly. And as you'd expect for a defensive end, that is his first interception of the season. Now it's a chance to tack on some more for GSU. Hand off to Banks. Inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. So Leon Smith will get credit for that tackle. So now it will fall to Bethune-Cookman next week. Carry the flag for the MEAC. Their game with New Hampshire will be available on NCAA.com. In fact, it'll be our crew that produces that game from Orlando, Florida. The MEAC still without a playoff win in FCS action since 1999. McKinnon on the keeper. Will be tackled shy of the first down. Jason Ayers makes the play. Give McKinnon the 11-yard line. It'll be third down on the yard. SC State season will end at 9-3. Georgia Southern will continue on at 8-4. Georgia Southern joining two other teams that have already advanced past the opening round today. Western Illinois, the Leathernecks, won at Coastal Carolina 17-10. And Lehigh beat Northern Iowa 14-7. Toss to Wilcox, first down. He tripped up at the 3-yard line. Ellis again was there to make the play. Also there, Lateris Douglas. First and goal, 3-yard line. Well, the final score may not be indicative as to the true tenor of this game today, but certainly it has been a solid team performance for Georgia Southern. Russell DeMazzi is in there at quarterback now. Third different quarterback we have seen. He'll hand off to Lee Banks, who will take it to the 1-yard line. So DeMazzi, young man from nearby Savannah, in at quarterback. And Shaw injured. McKinnon has taken over quite nicely for the midway point of the first quarter on. Second and goal, 1-yard line. 6:15 and counting left to play. All Georgia Southern here in the second half. DeMazzi the keeper. DeMazzi the touchdown. For DeMazzi, it's his first carry of the season. So why not be for a touchdown? 40-10, GSU. Take a look here. Got a good chip block there from Banks on his way in. And a good block by DiBartola as well on his way into the end zone. 41-10. All Georgia Southern at this point. We're back in a moment on NCAA.com. (41-10), Georgia Southern in complete control of this one. 2 field goals in the third quarter. A safety and 2 touchdowns. And as you can see, some of the SC State fans are heading out. They've seen enough at 41-10. Another low line drive kick, fielded by an up man. I think that's Wary who has it. They'll carry it out to the 41-yard line. So now for South Carolina State, looking for a pride touchdown here at this point. And their offense produced just 3 points today. Their lone touchdown came on a Linnell Elmore 89-yard kickoff return in the second quarter. And South Carolina State had a couple of chances to make this a one-score game late in the second quarter and early in the third. And this game was really, I would still say in doubt until the safety and ensuing possession to start the fourth quarter. Handoff goes to Wary. And he'll run into the hands of Blake Riley, I believe. Nope. Rico Agnew. Maybe both of those guys. Call it a gain of 1. Great chance here for Georgia Southern. You get a couple of new faces in the game. Get some playoff experience, some of your younger guys. The 2nd and 9. Looking for the deep ball. Man is open. Catch is made. No flags. Touchdown. That'll help that pride we were talking about. Malcolm Long. A 58-yard strike to Linnell Elmore. And again, that was into the wind. Young man has got an arm. No doubt about that. Well, he had a couple of guys open on deep balls earlier. Just could not connect. That time he hit his man in stride. And Elmore, his second big touchdown of the day. And that has been the day for SC State. Sustained drives have been a problem. Big plays have not been. And that's a rare problem for South Carolina State as Erickson misses wide left on the extra point. 5:21 left. 41-16 now your score on NCAA.com. Look at a very happy president from Georgia State University, Dr. Keel. Has a lot to be smiling about and clapping for today. His team up 41-16. Talked about this earlier. The volleyball team here at Georgia Southern for the Southern Conference Volleyball Championship. Earlier this week, they'll play in the NCAA tournament. I heard it's 27-8 was their record this season. Georgia Southern was ready for an onside kick. Scott says we're up 41-16. I'll take a fair catch on this one, avoid being hit. Southern will take over at their own 28-yard line. And again, now the goal, first downs, run clock, especially with South Carolina State with just 1 timeout remaining. I want to thank my spotter, Charlie Jones, today. An invaluable resource during the contest. Thanks to Allison, our producer up here atop the press box. You've seen the thank yous really for our crew from Hometown Sports Indiana. Thanks to Rose Carter and the staff here at Georgia Southern University. Been very hospitable to us. Thanks to all the folks in the IT. There's Charlie. See, Charlie, you get frostbite, but you get on camera today on NCAA.com. So it's all worth it. Thanks to Rose, all the folks in the IT department as well for their help. The students have been fantastic from the communications program here at Georgia Southern. DeMasi in there at quarterback, and another new fullback is Brent Thomas in there to make the carry. Thomas, a junior from Tampa, Florida. And again, we apologize to our youngsters from Georgia that we brought all this quote-unquote cold weather with us from the north. There's Patrick Griffin, been doing a great job on our end zone camera today. So second down and 9 coming up here. This is my first chance to catch a game at Paulson Stadium, and I cannot tell you how impressed I am with this facility. A beautiful campus here in Statesboro, but this is a wonderful facility for any level of football. Demasi on the keeper. They're taken down after about a 5-yard pickup. I think that was Richard that got him on the tackle. Now, third down and 4 coming up. I want to thank Bill Hamilton and his staff at South Carolina State as well, the longtime SID at SCSU. There's Allison. See, again, you brave the cold, you get on camera at least once. There is one more FCS football playoff game to be played today. It's 7 o'clock Eastern time at the Fargo Dome. Fargo, North Dakota. The Bison, North Dakota State, play host the Colonials of Robert Morris. You can watch that game on NCAA.com. Handoff. Nope, keeper. First down. Demasi kept it late. It would be a wise choice. If Thomas had that one, it stopped shy of a first down. Demasi keeps. First down, Georgia Southern. Chains move, clock rolls with 3:44 and counting left to play. Next week, 8 games in the FCS playoffs. We're down to 16 teams. 4 of those available on the ESPN family of networks. Either on ESPN syndication, ESPN3.com, or an ESPN channel. The other 4 available on NCAA.com. This one is tossed back and for a loss. And Gilmore will have the carry on the end around. Tackle is made by Samaj Moody for South Carolina State. Both teams trying to get some maybe players who have put in a lot of hard work in practice throughout the course of this season. Give them a chance to get on the field a little bit in the late stages of this one. Second down and 12. Georgia Southern will be one of 3 teams from the Southern Conference in next week's round of 16. I think that ball was fumbled. Not sure Thomas ever had it. And South Carolina State's got it. That is Richard who has it in his possession. And that was a gift. That ball went right to him. Just kicked up. Fell down. McFadden actually grabbed it. And Thomas took it away from him. So McFadden had the fumble. South Carolina State will take over at the 44-yard line. The Georgia Southern will join conference foes Wofford and Appalachian State to advance on to next week's second weekend of games. Wofford will be at Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State from the OVC. Bad snap, new quarterback in. And sacked on the play is Derek Wiley. So Wiley fumbles it. And Calvin West, senior reserve linebacker, there to make the play. Loss of 12 on the play. It'll be second and 22. A lot of new faces in there at the skill position spots for South Carolina State. Handoff, new back in there with plenty of room to run. Rowe will make the tackle of Chris Merrill, who makes the grab and takes it back into Georgia Southern territory at the 40. Call it a gain of 16 on the play. So third down and 6 with 1:33 and counting left to play this afternoon. Handoff goes up the middle. Again, that will be Chris Merrill. Gain of 2. Tackle made by Blake Riley. So 4th and 4 coming up. We appreciate you joining us on NCAA.com today, part of the All Access package. Fourth and 4, quick toss. Receiver slips, then runs into his own man. That's kind of the way things went today for South Carolina State. Williams made the grab. West was there amongst others for Georgia Southern, but almost an offensive lineman. They got credit for that tackle for the Bulldogs. Now Georgia Southern can take a knee or two and call it a day here in Statesboro. A great way to close out the home season for Georgia Southern. They will be on the road now from this point forward. And William & Mary, the opponent next week for these Eagles from GSU. DeMasi again will take 2 snaps as the clock rolls with 48 seconds left. Once again, Georgia Southern continues on at 8-4. South Carolina State will go home at 9-3. And that is the final play of today's game. Congratulations, Jeff Monken. It's his first playoff win in his first playoff game here at Georgia Southern. Final score this afternoon, Eagles 41 and the Bulldogs 16. Again, this is Greg Rakestraw. For our entire crew from Hometown Sports Indiana, we thank you so much for joining us for this FCS playoff opener here in Statesboro, Georgia. 41-16, Georgia Southern a winner on NCAA.com.
Please log on to GeorgiaSouthernEagles.com.